In the heart of the Yoruba village of Okebuken, there lived a widow named Adebisi. She was a quiet woman, rarely seen engaging with the villagers. Adebisi had a daughter named Sod, a bright and cheerful girl who brought light into her mother's otherwise somber life. The villagers often whispered about Adebisi, claiming she was hiding something. Her husband had passed away under mysterious circumstances, and since then, she had become increasingly reclusive. Adebisi's house stood at the edge of the village, surrounded by tall, thick trees that cast long shadows over her home. The house itself was modest but well kept, with a large wooden door that was always firmly shut. The windows were small and high, making it difficult for anyone to see inside. Many villagers speculated about what went on behind those closed doors. Sod, unlike her mother, was a lively child. She loved playing with the other children in the village, though her appearances outside were sporadic and always under the watchful eye of Adebisi. The children of the village often wondered why Sod was kept hidden away so much. They speculated that Adebisi was overprotective because she was a widow, but others thought there was something more sinister at play. One day, Soda's best friend, Tand, asked her why she was always inside. Sod shrugged and said, "Mama says it's for my own good. She says the world outside is dangerous." Tand found this odd but didn't press further. He knew that Adebisi had a reputation for being strict and didn't want to get Sod in trouble. Despite the whispers and the curiosity, no one dared to confront Adebisi directly. She carried an aura of mystery and power that kept people at bay. Some said she had knowledge of ancient rituals, passed down through generations, that gave her powers. Others believed she was just a grieving widow trying to protect her only child. Little did they know, the truth was far more complicated and darker than anyone could have imagined. The village of Okebuken was a place where news and gossip traveled fast. The villagers spent their evenings gathered around fires, sharing stories and speculating about their neighbors. Adebisi and her daughter, Sod, were frequent topics of conversation. The mysterious behavior of Adebisi and the rare appearances of Sod fueled endless rumors and speculation. "Adebisi is up to something," whispered Aibo, the village seamstress, to her friend Akin. "I've seen her sneaking into the forest at night. What could she be doing out there?" Akin nodded thoughtfully. "There are many strange things in this world, Aibo. Perhaps she knows secrets we cannot understand. But what about Sod? That poor girl is never allowed to play like the other children." Others in the village shared similar sentiments. "Why is she so secretive? What is she hiding in that house?" asked Bamedil, the village blacksmith. "I've never seen the inside of that place, and I don't think anyone else has either." One evening, during a particularly animated discussion at the village square, Baba Agba, the village chief, decided to speak. His voice was deep and commanding, instantly silencing the murmurs. "Adebisi is a widow and has suffered much. We should not jump to conclusions without knowing the truth. We must approach this matter with caution and respect." The villagers nodded in agreement, but the curiosity and unease lingered. They had heard stories of people who practiced dark rituals to gain power and wealth. Could Adebisi be one of those people? The idea seemed far-fetched, yet the signs were there: the secrecy, the strange nighttime activities, and the hidden room no one had ever seen. Children, in particular, were both scared and fascinated by the tales. Tand, Soda's best friend, found himself increasingly worried about her. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He decided he would find a way to uncover the truth, not just for the sake of his curiosity, but to ensure Sod was safe. The village continued to buzz with speculation and fear. As the days went by, the whispers grew louder, and the villagers' curiosity turned into a quiet determination to discover what was really going on in Adebizi's house. They had no idea that their lives were about to change in ways they could never have imagined. Adebizi's house, with its high windows and family shut doors, held many secrets. One of the most significant was the hidden room. This room was concealed behind a false wall in the back of the house, known only to Adebizi and her daughter, Sod. The entrance to the room was cleverly disguised with a bookshelf that could be moved to reveal a narrow door. The hidden room was dimly lit by a single flickering candle. Inside, there was a small bed, a table with strange symbols carved into it, and shelves lined with bottles filled with mysterious herbs and powders. This was where Adebizi conducted her secret rituals. She had inherited knowledge of these rituals from her ancestors, who believed in ancient, powerful magic. Sod spent most of her time in this hidden room. She had grown used to the dark and eerie atmosphere, though she longed to be outside playing with her friends. Her mother had told her that the rituals were necessary to protect their family and ensure their survival. "This is our way, Sod," Adebizi would say. "You must trust me." One evening, as the moon shone brightly in the sky, Adebizi prepared a special meal for Sod. She added a mixture of herbs and powders to the food, whispering incantations as she did so. She carried the food to the hidden room and handed it to Sod. "Eat, my child," she said softly. "It is for our protection." Sod obediently ate the meal, though she found the taste strange and bitter. She trusted her mother and believed that the rituals were important. However, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was not right. After finishing the meal, she began to feel a strange sensation in her stomach. Moments later, she started to vomit, and to her shock, she vomited money, shiny coins and crisp bills. Adebizi quickly collected the money, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction. "This is our gift, Sod," she said. "You are special. We must continue these rituals to ensure our prosperity." Sod was frightened but didn't dare to question her mother. She was locked back in the hidden room, left to ponder the strange events. She wondered if her mother was right or if something terrible was happening to her. The walls of the hidden room seemed to close in on her, and she felt more trapped than ever. The villagers, unaware of the hidden room and the dark rituals taking place, continued to speculate and whisper. The mystery of Adebizi and Sod deepened, and the village of Okebukan remained on edge, sensing that something significant was unfolding just beyond their sight. Adebizi's nightly rituals continued, shrouded in secrecy. Each night, she would prepare a special meal for Sod, mixing it with the mysterious herbs and powders she kept hidden away. The process was always the same. She would whisper incantation over the food, then carry it to the hidden room where Sod awaited. Sod, though frightened by the strange occurrences, trusted her mother. She believed that the rituals were for their protection and well-being. However, each time she ate the food, the same thing happened: she would vomit money. The coins and bills seemed to materialize from within her, and Adebizi would eagerly collect them. One night, as Adebizi was preparing the ritual meal, she heard a noise outside her house. She paused, listening carefully. It was late, and most of the villagers were asleep. She quickly finished her preparations and made her way to the hidden room. As she locked the door behind her, she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching her. Unbeknownst to Adebisi, Ton had decided to uncover the truth about the strange happenings at her house. He had followed her from a distance and had seen her sneak into the forest on several occasions. Determined to find out what she was up to, he waited patiently outside her house that night, hiding in the shadows. From his hiding spot, Ton saw Adebisi carrying a bowl of food towards the back of the house. He watched as she moved the bookshelf to reveal the hidden door. His heart raced with excitement and fear. He had discovered the hidden room. He knew he had to find a way to get inside and see what was going on. Inside the hidden room, Adebisi handed the food to Sod, who ate it reluctantly. As the strange sensation began in her stomach, Sod felt the familiar fear rising within her. She vomited the money, and Adebisi collected it, her face a mix of satisfaction and relief. "This is our way, Sod," she repeated. "We must do this to survive." After locking Sod back in the hidden room, Adebisi returned to her own room, clutching the money she had collected. She knew that what she was doing was dangerous and wrong, but she felt trapped. The deal she had made with the spirit was binding, and breaking it could have dire consequences for both her and Sod. Meanwhile, Tand, determined to help his friend, began to devise a plan. He knew he couldn't confront Adebisi alone, he needed the support of the village. But how could he convince the villagers without proof? Tand decided to gather more evidence before approaching the village elders. He resolved to return the next night and see if he could learn more. The next day, Tand was unusually quiet, deep in thought about how to execute his plan. He didn't want to alarm Sod or get her into trouble. After school, he whispered to his closest friend, Beo, and shared what he had seen the previous night. "We need to help Sod," Tand said urgently. "But we have to be careful. We can't let Adebisi know what we're doing." Beo agreed to help, and together they hatched a plan. That night, they would sneak out again and try to find a way into the hidden room. They knew it was risky, but they were determined to uncover the truth. As night fell, Tand and Beo waited until their families were asleep before slipping out of their homes. They met in the village square and quietly made their way to Adebisi's house. Tand led Beo to the spot where he had hidden the previous night. "Stay quiet," Tand whispered. "We have to wait for the right moment." They watched as Adebisi went through her nightly routine. She prepared the special meal, whispering the strange incantations, and then carried it to the hidden room. This time, Tand and Beo followed her more closely, staying hidden in the shadows. They saw her move the bookshelf and unlock the hidden door. "We need to see what's inside that room," Beo whispered. "But how?" Tand thought for a moment. "We need to get Adebisi away from the house. If we can create a distraction, maybe we can get inside." They waited until Adebisi had returned to her room and then quietly discussed their plan. Tand would create a distraction while Beo tried to get into the hidden room. It was dangerous, but they felt it was the only way to help Sod. The next evening, Tand and Beo put their plan into action. Tand collected some dry leaves and twigs from the forest and piled them near the back of Adebisi's house. As night fell, he lit the pile on fire, creating a small but noticeable blaze. The smoke quickly rose into the air. "Help! Fire!" Tand shouted, making sure his voice carried. Adebisi, startled by the noise, rushed out of her house to see what was happening. She saw the fire and immediately ran to fetch water, her mind focused on extinguishing the flames. While Adebisi was distracted, Beo quickly made his way to the hidden room. He moved the bookshelf and saw the small door. It was slightly ajar, as Adebisi had not fully locked it in her haste. He slipped inside and found Sod lying on the small bed, looking weak and frightened. "Sod, it's me, Beo," he whispered. "We're here to help you." Soda's eyes widened with relief and fear. "Beo, you have to leave. Mama will be back soon. It's not safe." But Beo was determined. "We know about the rituals, Sod. We need to get you out of here." Sod nodded, too exhausted to argue. Beo helped her up and they quietly made their way out of the hidden room. Just as they were about to leave the house, they heard Adebisi's footsteps approaching. "We have to hide," Beo whispered urgently. He quickly led Sod to a dark corner of the house, hoping they wouldn't be seen. Adebisi returned to the house, her heart still racing from the fire. She quickly checked the hidden room and was relieved to see the door was still slightly ajar. She didn't notice Sod and Beo hiding in the shadows. She assumed Sod was inside resting and decided to check on her in the morning. Turned, watching from a distance, saw Adebisi return and knew they had to act fast. He signaled to Beo, who gently led Sod out of the house. They moved as quietly as possible, avoiding the creaking floorboards. Once outside, they met up with Tund. "We need to get Sod somewhere safe," Tund said. "Let's take her to my house for now." They made their way to Tund's house, where his parents welcomed Sod with open arms. They were shocked by her condition and listened carefully as Tund and Beo explained everything they had discovered. "We need to inform Baba Agba and the village elders," Tund's father said gravely. "This is more serious than we thought." The next morning, Tund's father, accompanied by several other concerned villagers, went to see Baba Agba. They explained the situation, recounting everything Tund and Beo had witnessed. Baba Agba listened carefully, his face growing more serious with each passing moment. "This is indeed troubling," he said finally. "We must act swiftly to protect Sod and uncover the full extent of Adebisi's actions." He called a meeting of the village elders, and soon they gathered in the chief's hut. The elders were respected members of the community, known for their wisdom and fairness. Baba Agba explained the situation to them, and they discussed the best course of action. "We must confront Adebisi," one elder suggested. "But we must do so with caution. We don't know the full extent of her powers." Another elder nodded in agreement. "We should also seek the help of Aya Ifun, the village herbalist. Her knowledge of ancient rituals and herbs may be crucial in breaking the spell." The elders decided to act immediately. Baba Agba and a group of villagers, including Tund and Beo, made their way to Adebisi's house. They were determined to put an end to the dark rituals and free Sod from her mother's control. Adebisi was startled when she saw the group of villagers approaching her house. She knew something was wrong. As they reached her doorstep, Baba Agba stepped forward. "Adebisi, we need to talk," he said firmly. "We know about the hidden room and the rituals you've been performing. It's time to stop." Adebisi's face turned pale. She tried to deny the accusations, but the evidence was overwhelming. The villagers, led by Tund and Beo, described everything they had seen and heard. Adebisi realized there was no point in hiding the truth any longer. Tears streamed down her face as she confessed. "I made a terrible mistake," she said. "I made a deal with a powerful spirit to gain wealth. In return, I had to perform these rituals using my daughter, Sod. I thought it was the only way to ensure our survival." The villagers were shocked and saddened by Adebizi's confession. They felt a mix of anger and pity for her. Baba Akbar, with a heavy heart, decided that Adebizi needed to be held accountable for her actions but also needed help. "We will take care of Sod," he said gently. "And we will find a way to break the spell. Adebizi, you must come with us to see Aya Ifun. She will know what to do." Adebizi nodded, too overwhelmed with guilt and sorrow to resist. She knew she had to make amends for the harm she had caused. The villagers, now united in their determination to help Sod and restore peace to their community, set off towards Aya Ifun's hut. Aya Ifun lived on the outskirts of the village, in a small hut surrounded by herbs and medicinal plants. She was known for her wisdom and knowledge of ancient practices. When the villagers arrived with Adebizi and Sod, she welcomed them warmly, sensing the gravity of the situation. Baba Akbar explained everything to Aya Ifun, who listened intently. She examined Sod and could see the toll the rituals had taken on the young girl. "This is a dark magic," Aya Ifun said gravely. "But it can be undone with the right herbs and incantations. We will need to perform a powerful cleansing ritual." Adebizi looked at Aya Ifun with pleading eyes. "Please, help my daughter. I will do anything to make this right." Aya Ifun nodded. "First, we must gather the necessary herbs. Then we will perform the ritual under the full moon. It will be a difficult process, but it is the only way to break the spell and free Sod from its hold." The villagers quickly set to work, gathering the herbs and preparing for the ritual. Aya Ifun instructed them on what to do, and they followed her guidance meticulously. There was a sense of urgency and determination in the air. As night fell, the full moon cast an eerie glow over the village. The villagers gathered around Aya Ifun's hut, their faces a mix of hope and fear. Adebizi stood close to Sod, holding her hand tightly. She knew this was her last chance to make things right. Under the light of the full moon, Aya Ifun began the cleansing ritual. She placed the herbs in a large bowl and set them on fire, creating a thick, aromatic smoke. She chanted ancient incantations, calling upon the spirits to aid in breaking the dark spell. Sod, weak and trembling, was brought forward. Aya Ifun gave her a special potion to drink. The potion was made from the herbs the villagers had gathered, mixed with water from a sacred stream. Sod hesitated for a moment but then drank the potion, trusting in the wise herbalist. As the smoke swirled around them, Aya Ifun placed her hands on Soda's forehead and continued chanting. The villagers watched in silence, their hearts filled with hope. Adebizi stood nearby, tears streaming down her face, praying for her daughter's safety. The ritual lasted for what felt like hours. Soda's body convulsed as the dark magic was forced out of her. Aya Ifun's chants grew louder, more urgent, as she commanded the spirits to release Sod from their grip. The air crackled with energy, and the villagers could feel the power of the ritual. Finally, with one last, powerful incantation, Aya Ifun brought the ritual to an end. Sod collapsed to the ground, exhausted but free from the dark magic that had controlled her. The villagers rushed forward to help her, their faces filled with relief and joy. Sod slowly regained her strength over the next few days. The villagers took turns caring for her, making sure she had everything she needed. Adebizi, filled with remorse, stayed by her daughter's side, determined to make amends for the pain she had caused. Baba Akbar and the village elders decided that Adebizi should be given a chance to redeem herself. They understood that her actions had been driven by desperation and fear, and they believed in the power of forgiveness and healing. Adebisi agreed to undergo a period of penance, during which she would help Aya Ifon with her herbal remedies and learn the true ways of healing and protection. She vowed to use her knowledge for good, to help others in the village and to ensure that no one else would fall victim to the dark magic she had once practiced. If you like our stories, please consider subscribing and leave a comment, telling us where you are watching from. See you in the next video. Bye.